like you're going to a destination to spend time doing activities and stuff at that destination. It's totally different when it's just like, I mean, you feel like a truck driver, right? I guess I imagine that's how truck drivers feel. Um, I've never been a truck driver. I've never had to. Well, I take that back. I've had to do that once. I did a road trip for somebody. It was cheaper at the time for them to, for the size of the vehicle, because it was a really big vehicle, for me and a buddy to drive it across the country for him, um, so that so that he could have his vehicle sent from one state to another. That was pretty much across the entire country. So that it was cheaper to have some pay a couple of teenagers and older teenagers that were responsible, like me, responsible. Yeah, I fooled them. I fooled them to make them, to get them somehow. My dad vouched for me being a responsible teenager that could drive somebody's H2 all the way across the country. Now, but yeah, so that's neither here nor there. It sucks. So what I like to try to do, if I can, on some of these weekends that I have to do this transportation of my daughter, go somewhere, do something that's in that direction. Whether it's, if it's a very short weekend, 4-day weekend's fairly short, but the 3-day weekends, I really try my darndest to, like, go somewhere and that's up in that direction. So I'm not driving that full 7 hours twice, with like less than 48 hours time frame between the driving. I'd rather stay up in that area, go camping, go sightseeing, do something, rather than, and save myself a little bit of gas money, and not feel like I'm doing nothing with my weekend other than driving up and down the 95, which is not a fun road between from the Carolinas down to Florida. The 95 is not a fun freeway to drive on. It's really not. It's boring. It sucks. It just does. So, especially when that's the coastline that you live on and you do it all the damn time. Yeah, so. But all right, today's task, conversation topic. Obviously, it's not Friday. I know it's not Friday. You know it's not Friday. Hold on, y'all can see I didn't really do a good job of covering up with my backdrop. There we go. That's a little better. That way you're not seeing all of my junk piled up on shelves behind my bed post up on the wall. But yeah, so today's topic, and the reason why we're doing this live today, is because tomorrow I have to make that drive, and I decided and figured out that I'm actually going to go ahead and go do a little one night easy peasy backpacking trip. I just I found a place that I've never been. It's an easy trail. It's less than a 6-mile long loop. So technically, if I wanted to, anybody really of decent physical ability could hike this thing in less than 4 hours if they wanted to. But I'm gonna make it an overnight trip, and just, because I won't get there. I won't get to the trailhead until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or maybe 2 o'clock. So, hike for an hour and a half to 2 hours, just leisurely. And then leisurely set up camp, and putz around. I was going to do a couple videos on some stuff, do a little video recording, because I know I've not posted a video on my channel in well over probably 2 weeks, except for doing lives. That's pretty much it. I've been boring. I really haven't found anything, any particular topic or any particular item. I haven't, besides the the Civivi Cindy, this guy, which I really like that spay point blade, that spay blade. Really cool knife. Check out the video on. I have a video on it along with like 50 other people who have done videos on this guy. I did swap it out for the milled clip rather than their standard dinky. It's not really dinky. It's a good clip, but their standard metal clip, folded over clip. I like this better. It's more low profile, so it helps with the ergos in the hand, and it also, I just think it makes it a little classier looking. Dresses it up just a little bit, and just it looks good. It fits good for the knife. I like it. I definitely prefer this clip. So yeah, this is the last knife that I've gotten. And besides getting the Padre, the Kunru Padre, which technically was purchased at the end of last year, that knife and this knife are the only two knives that I've acquired for 2024. There is a couple that I'm looking forward to. Give me a second and let me finish this thought, and then we'll shout out and I'll show who all is in here and answer any comments that y'all got already. I'm sorry I didn't jump into that quite right away, but yeah. So there's a couple that are coming up that I'm interested in knives wise, but it's kind of just been dead for the beginning of the year. And if I remember right, doesn't that happen pretty much every year because of the whole Chinese New Year thing? I believe that is true. I believe we do kind of have the Chinese New Year kind of puts a little bit of a dry spell at the beginning of the year here. Of course, there were a bunch of knives by about a third of our knife manufacturing companies out there, about a third of them, I would say, brought some new stuff to the table at SHOT Show there at the end of January. But otherwise, I think it's the Chinese New Year that affects the slowdown, the pause that we have at this time of the year, which is okay. It's okay. And most of us are trying to recuperate from the holidays financially anyways, right? We're not rolling in dough usually in January and February of the year. All right. So it's all good. It's all good. But that's why I've not had anything to do a good video on. But I think after this weekend, I'll have at least one, if not maybe two videos to put out for the channel, for my channel members, or not channel members, but my followers, my faithful servants. No, just kidding. All right, let's go through who all decided to show up today on my short notice posting of doing a live today rather than tomorrow. Hey, Joe's here. What's up, buddy? What? Hi, Zoe. What do you need? I'm on a live. Yeah.
That's why I was trying to make sure I didn't say it.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. All right. Bye-bye. Love you. Go away. That's the daughter that I got to get rid of for the weekend. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So no, I did not post on the wrong days. I've already explained why. We're doing this today and not tomorrow. Stick around, because I am doing a giveaway. I'm doing a giveaway today. There will be a goal, so don't disappear on me. Stick around. If you want, go send word to a handful of other people that are usually pop up and participate in my Friday lives. If you want to go spread the word, go spread the word. I'm doing a giveaway. Because yesterday was Valentine's Day. Who had a good Valentine's Day? Who feels like Valentine's Day is very much for the ladies, geared towards the ladies, not for the dudes? Like what, it's such a sexist holiday, right? No. I mean, in exchange for taking your significant other out to dinner and buying them flowers and candy or chocolates or whatever, and getting a card, or if you're romantic enough to write some a little bit of poetry, some sweet soothing words of affection, all that mushy stuff, if that's your thing. You do that typically for the ladies, right? No, I don't know a whole lot of ladies that go that route for their dudes. uh, Usually they're not doing it for a dude, they're doing it for another lady, right? We won't go there, but we'll put a stop. No, no, Urban, don't say anymore. But yeah, and then what do us guys want in return? We just want our dick sucked. We just want to get laid, right? It's that simple, right? Um, not everybody, but for the most part, you're not gonna complain if that's the deal, right? if that's the trade off. But no, yeah, sometimes it kind of feels like it's heavily one sided in favor of the ladies, but whatever. It's a holiday. The kids like it. I always make sure that the kids get a little something, a bit of candy and extra. I love you too. I'm not the most affectionate father. I'm not a real big hugger. I don't like. I mean, I don't mind hugs, but like one hug for a person per day is more than enough. Like I'm good with it being like every 3 days. If it's somebody I see on a weekly basis, I don't need to hug you every time I see you. It's kind of how I am. But hey, what can you do? Brand new American, what's up, brother? How you doing? Probably, yeah. So as you know, not doing it today, not tomorrow, because of what I have to do tomorrow, and the fact that even if I wasn't decided not to do anything up there in that direction, not to go backpacking, I possibly wouldn't make it home by 3:30. Because even when I don't go somewhere and stay up in that direction, I usually like to stop on my home in Savannah and go to Bass Pro Shop, or I stop in Pooler at the big outlet mall there and pop in a few stores and wander around for a little bit just to break up the driving. So yeah, I don't mind driving long distances. I'm actually fine with it, but it is when the road path is boring, then it's nice to stop and break things up and go somewhere and see something and stretch your legs, that kind of stuff, right? Those of y'all know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so we got Joe, we got brand new. Broke ass knives is in here. What up? Do you bring first of all, do you bring a knife? And y'all do. I'm not gonna do the whole poll thing, but y'all let me know in the comments because it's just a couple of y'all. If you go backpacking, I don't know if any of y'all have been, but if you were going backpacking, what would be your preference, or does it entirely depend on where you're going and what time of the year you're going? The answer is that, but that should and will absolutely affect whether or not you chose the right tool for the job. So the question of which tool, knife, axe, hatchet, deal, or saw, folding saw, which are you going to bring? If you only are bringing one main tool, would you bring a large folder or fixed blade? Would you bring the hatchet, axe, or would you bring a folding saw? Brand new says a knife always. Always a knife. Always a knife. If you can only do one of those three items, if you're doing one, it's a kukri. So if you're going backpacking in in a pine forest that was just a year or two ago scorched by a natural wildfire, aka there's little to no vegetation on the ground. All you have is just crispy based bottom trees, maybe a little bit of grass, just a little bit of wildflowers, just real low vegetation, nothing that's gonna bother you. Why would you bring a kukri in that environment? Just like if you're going to the desert, why would you bring a kukri to the desert? So that's where the mindset of when you decide which of those three items to bring, the location, your destination, where you're going, it very much matters, and should dictate which item or items, if you take more two out of the three, um, because you just can't fathom the idea of not having at least two, or and then the other thing is, where you're backpacking, or do you absolutely plan to have a fire at night? What if you're going backpacking during a dry spell and there's a fire ban in the area? So you're not allowed to, and would get in really big trouble if you start a fire. So would you bother to bring an axe or a saw if you can't even have a fire? So there's no need to harvest wood for anything. Then that would dictate and make sense just to bring a knife, and you don't really even need a big knife at that point. So yeah, geography absolutely makes a difference. Even though brand new says he says he understands geography definitely makes a difference, but where he lives, if he's going out there, he wants to chop some stuff. He wants to take care of business. That's okay. You don't have to be a bushcraft expert. You don't have to be. And what I did was I took a bushcrafting class. It was a day and a half weekend deal. We had three different instructors that covered different areas that each one was particularly more proficient in. And then I also I went to two of them. It was 2 weekends. It was a scouting camp out with the Boy Scouts and everything. But it was a pioneering camp type event. That was the theme of the weekend, and they had a whole bunch of different, like your Revolutionary War and your Civil War reenactment groups, and some other there was another group. I forget what the name of the group was, but there was another group that was the whole weekend was like pioneering camp. So they had, of course, all their cast iron stuff. They had all their shelters were like lean-to type, or like half-made cabin, open Adirondack style, with canvas tarps and canvas, opened canvas tents, and where you had to harvest your long branches, or logs for erecting it and setting up. And your beds were made with using logs and rope, twine, twigs, straw for your bedding, and just a wool blanket, so no sleeping bags, all that stuff. And you had to build all that stuff. You had to find all the materials out there except for, your kit that you would have carried on your horse or your donkey or whatever. So yeah, so I've been to a couple of those, and I actually had more fun at those than I did at the bushcrafting event that I went to. So I mean, they were both awesome. The experience was incredible, and I learned so damn much. And learned so much. And what I got to see, what I got to look out, things I got to try doing myself, and getting tips and tricks and pointers and assistance with that. I didn't get to do all of it. I wish I could have, but I didn't get to do every little thing. And I have not, since those events, practiced every single little thing that I did get to try out while I was there. I only retained probably about a third. to be honest, I only retained about a third. But I have picked up other things from watching some YouTube videos and then giving stuff a try, realizing that your basics, you kind of branch off from the basics of your basic bushcrafting and your basic pioneering skills, and you kind of just build. And what really helps and what really makes someone fantastic at bushcrafting or pioneering, besides obviously practice for everything, makes, doesn't make perfect, but makes you damn near close, or can make you that super close. But what really helps is having an engineering, a builder's type mindset, which is often an outside the box thinking type brain. So not everybody has that. I was blessed to have that, I guess. So not everybody has that kind of mindset. Not everybody's brain functions very well with outside the box thinking, and a builder's mindset, an engineering mindset of the creativity of structure and design. So that's kind of helps, can definitely absolutely lean you in favor of being a better bushcrafter or a better pioneer per se. The couple weekends ago when I took the family up to Dahlonega to the Gold Rush town that's up in North Georgia, and we did panning for gold, and I had 3 out of the 4 workers that work there that do this on a day in and day out basis, walk by me and say, "Dude, that's excellent technique." Because I've done it. I've done it so many times, and I've watched people do it. I've watched the ones that know how to do it and do it on a regular basis. I've seen how they do their technique, and just you pay attention to the details of it, and you think about why would you shake the pan in this direction, or why you would do this, or why you would do that. The physics of it, the process, why you would do it this way and not another way. I mean, that's the mindset that I have, and apparently it helps me out with a lot of things. There's still things that I suck at. There's plenty of shit that I suck at. So I'm not perfect. I am not a complete jack of all trades. I do have my weaknesses. I absolutely have my weaknesses. But okay, so where I typically go backpacking and the outdoors venues that I typically go to, are medium to heavily wooded. There's quite a bit of not extreme elevation change, but there's quite a bit of ups and downs. I occasionally some places have some medium-sized or small lakes. A couple places have a pond here or a pond there, but I pretty much almost always go somewhere where I've got a river and water access uh, via a river of some sort, of some degree, preferably larger than just a brook or a stream, because those like to dry up during the winter months. And that's no bueno going backpacking and not having a water source that's um, that really really sucks. Having to hike in over a gallon worth of water, miles and miles of trail, hauling more than somewhere between a gallon and 2 gallons of water is no bueno, no bueno. That's a lot of weight. And it sloshes around and it's awkward. Yeah. So I absolutely make sure and prefer to go backpacking where there is water source. A good, healthy water, reliable water source. But typically when you go backpacking, you're almost always, when you go backpacking, if you make a fire, you're harvesting your own wood from nature, from wherever you're at, right? I've I think once I've seen somebody, it was a group, it was a fairly large group, and they were not experienced backpackers. They were, weekend warriors, I guess, who carried in, each person carried 2 fire logs. Each person carried 2 logs with their pack and all their gear. So I think the group was probably around 14 or 15 people. So yeah, you have 14 or 15 people, and every person carried 2 logs. That was actually a decent amount of firewood. So yeah. But other than that one time, I've never seen anybody haul in firewood. I've seen people, and I've actually done it myself, bring a bag or a half a bag of charcoal. If you're not having to hike very far, if it's just like a one night, so you don't have a lot of weight as far as food goes, and if most of your gear is fairly lightweight gear, then it's not a bad idea, especially if you're going backpacking on a very rainy weekend or at a time where that area just got a crazy amount of rain. Therefore, all of your firewood sourcing will be wet and more difficult because you'd have to chop and split and shave down to get to the drier center. It's just that really, it sucks, but it doesn't suck. It's a good skill to have. It's great to understand and practice going through that process of breaking down firewood that you've gathered, to where you have to get to the center in order to get to that dry wood and figure out how to get a fire going from your wood source, your fuel source, from coming from an extremely wet environment, an extremely wet situation. There's a lot of gratitude, self gratitude. There's a lot of self satisfaction of, yes, even though it's just like I triumph over the fact that all this wood that I gathered, everything was freaking soaking wet and it's still raining, and yet I was able to get a fire going. There's a lot of pride in that. So being able to do that is worth every bit of bragging rights and pride that you would receive from being able to accomplish that. It really is. It really is, because sometimes it is not easy at all. It is not easy at all. Well, hey, what's up, Dwayne and Gons and Dang Ross is here. Awesome, great. We're getting a good gang together. Stick around because there's going to be a giveaway. Glad y'all are showing up. Angelo, good to see you. So, with that, let's cover what I have and what I bring. After doing an overall discussion, I have this guy, which he is rather expensive, but rather nice. And it is gorgeous and amazingly sharp. And it has a damn near perfect mirror. No, it's not perfect because I've used it quite a bit. And not bothered to polish it because I don't see the point in polishing a tool like this. This is a Holtzford Brooks hand axe, and made in Sweden. I forget what the steel is on these things, but it is insanely sharp. Like, I could shave my face with this thing. That's how sharp this blade is. You might think, why would you have a hand axe hatchet, and anybody handled hatchet like this, that freaking sharp? When you do bushcrafting, there are lots of tasks, figuring out, doing your stakes and setting snares, and doing a lot of your friction fitted holding joints, your joinery for a lot of your bushcrafting camp gadgets and furniture and whatnot, that requires a nice super sharp edge for precise cuts, chisel like cuts. And so to have a hand axe like this that has that sharp blade like that comes in very key importance when you're doing those particular cuts for those particular crafts and creations in your campsite. So you need, and when you're using this is typically when you're making those chisel like precise cuts, that this is how you would hold the axe. You don't hold it like this. This is for when you're just hacking away, trying to remove material. When you're making those precision cuts, you're like this. Like 90% of the time, that's how you're going to hold it when you make those precision cuts. So, yeah. So that I have this guy. This guy he's my bushcrafting skilled. When I know that I'm going to be doing that kind of work out there, this is my go-to. This is absolutely a must. Okay, if I'm just bringing something to process some firewood, especially when, and this is when the only time that I bring an axe, or a hand axe or hatchet, there's slight difference between the two as definition wise, but yeah, so I'm bringing the hand axe like this for bushcrafting type work. But I'm on a live. Please do not bother me right now, Riley. I will get Cody to help you.
I don't know it too.
Okay, I don't know it either. I don't know either, so that's mommy's deal. Sorry. No can do, sir. No can do. I no help. So, the one that I particularly like to bring is by default something that I picked up in a very inexpensive package that I got at Walmart, and I just kind of got it at first. I think I bought it as more of just an impulse whim of, Ha ha ha. I wonder if these will be any good. If and I figured, hey, if they're good, great. If they're not, then I'll fuck them up and I'll throw them away. Uh, but the Camillus brand, Camillus likes to coat almost all of their metal in some amount of titanium, a titanium based powder coating. That's what they like to do because you won't find high rust stain resistant steel on on anything coming from the Camillus brand. But it very much in a sense they don't have the reputation and they're nowhere near the credibility that Cold Steel has for making insanely hard use stuff that they test beyond um, what anybody would normally put a knife or axe or um, machete or anything that they make through. But Camillus does make stuff like this, and I picked this up from Walmart. It was in a pack. It came with the hatchet here, and there was a knife, a folding knife, and I want to say maybe a multi-tool. I forget what the third item was. It was a 3-item package, and I don't remember what the third item was or if I even still have it. I do have the knife, which I ended up uh, doing something else to the blade to make it into another tool, not a cutting tool. But I kept this guy, and I use this thing and bring this thing often because surprisingly, because it is so thin for a hatchet, because the blade is so thin and this polypropylene handle makes it so very lightweight, and this is actually great for pounding in stakes or breaking up some rocks that are in the ground that where you want to drive a stake into the ground, and there's a rock right there. You can smash the hell out of the rock and break that rock up with this so that you can get your stake in the ground there between the rocks that you just pulverized. But this guy does a great job for splitting. Shockingly, of small stuff. Obviously, a wood splitter, a true wood splitter, is going to be have a very it's going to have a massive and fast taper to a thick head on the one end, because a wood splitter, in the name, it wants to split. So you want a nice tough edge, and then you want a massive taper so that it really pulls the wood apart, separates the grain of the wood. But instead of bringing because it's backpacking, so you're not going to bring a 7-pound splitting maul with you. You got to bring something that's small, fairly compact, and hopefully lightweight as possible, right? So then a lot of people go to their mindset says, well, then I'm going to get just a large fixed blade knife. I'm just going to get a large fixed blade knife that I can baton with, and like an SE6. And that's freaking fantastic. I love the SE6 after they did the contoured handles. When they had the flat slabbed handles, that was an uncomfortable handle to hold and chop with. If you were chopping with it like it was a machete in harvesting wood, it was not a comfortable handle. The flat scaled handle was not. When they decided to, and it wasn't maybe 4 years ago that SE decided to do the contoured G10 and micarta handles on those fixed blades, that it made it a comfortable handle to do that kind of work, that kind of wood harvesting, with that fixed blade. So fixed blade's awesome, but this will do the same thing and more. And more. This will do all of your batoning, split your firewood, all of your, wrist thickness, arm thickness wood. It'll process it just as well as a large fixed blade. And because of the propylene handle, it's actually fairly lightweight. And then the beauty is that this also can be used as a shovel for digging your poop holes. You can use the blade for that. It can be used as a defense tool, self-defense tool. Better, I actually, because of surprisingly, the weight balance on this thing, I can throw this. 30 feet and get it to stick almost like 8 times out of 10. 8 throws out of 10, I can throw this thing about 30 feet and make it stick. So yeah, it is close to what a true throwing axe or tomahawk is. The weight balance, distribution, and blade shape is all so close to what you would want as a throwing axe, or throwing tomahawk. Also, the beauty of this guy is Torx heads, screws. I can take the blade out and then replace this handle with a much longer handle, for and I would choose to do that if I was really having to break some big stuff down and want, more powerful swings into my material, and or use it as a defensive weapon, and a animal. If you found yourself in a situation where you needed to get food, if you had to kill an animal for a food source in an emergency situation, which I've never had to do that, thank goodness. I've not put myself in that position to where I had to kill an animal only because I was freaking starving and had no food source and could not get to a food source. I've never had to do that way. But you do have the ability. There's so many more, and there's ways that I'm not even thinking about. Also, this, it does not make me cringe at all for 2 seconds. There's no thought process in the idea of using the back of this thing to beat the shit out of anything. I am not worried about it. I am not worried about beating the hell out of this thing at all. And it has been through some serious use and borderline abuse. It's done a lot. And yeah, it's done so much for me. And I really like it. And it sharpens easily. I don't know what the steel is. It's probably, 1050 or 1085 or 1075 or one of those. It's one of those, I'm sure. Again, I got it at Walmart for like less than $25 for, and it got this, a knife, a folding knife, and something else. Forget whether it was either a multi-tool or a flashlight. I don't remember. But that's that. I like that guy. If I'm not doing bushcrafting, pioneering type skills, then I'm bringing that thing. It's cheap, it works, and it's lightweight and compact. If I've got to break down, if I've got to split wood, if I've got to do a lot of splitting, and would rather use that than baton with a nice fixed blade of mine, I'd rather bring that guy and process my wood with that guy, and or do anything else that thing can do. As far as a saw goes, I have owned over the years. I have owned a one of those saws that you put together with the U frame, which is an awesome saw that can process a lot of firewood. And if you're a trail blazer, trail maintainer, uh, short of bringing a chainsaw, those type saws. Why am I drawing a blank on the damn name of that type of a saw? Types of saws. Sorry, give me a second to look this up. There's so many different types of saws used for different things. I mean, from woodworking, you have your reciprocating saws, your wallboard saws, your chainsaw, band saws, jigsaws, hacksaws, crosscut saws. The one I was thinking of is your bow saw. I bow hunt. I have a bow. Why am I forgetting? I have 2 bow saws in my workshop. But yeah, a bow saw has the U-shaped frame, and then the blade is held between the 2 ends of the U-shape. So yeah, there are some fantastic folding bow saws that give you a very long blade, cutting blade length that is all that much more advantageous to cutting up your larger diameter, your big trees. Now, when I go backpacking, I have absolutely, because I'm not a trailblazer, because I'm not a trail maintainer, which is somebody who, as you hike down the trail, if a tree has fallen or a large branches have fallen across the trail and are blocking the trail, making it difficult to continue on the trail, then you cut it. You clear that path. You re-establish the trail so that nobody gets hurt, so that is not a major hindrance, and almost most importantly, pretty much the main reason is so that people do not veer off the trail and blaze a new trail. You want to maintain just the one single trail, make the least impact in the outdoors, in the environment as possible. Only have one trail. You don't want, I hate going hiking and backpacking and see how people have blazed their own trails, made their own paths, cleared their own routes for no good legitimate reason, because it takes away from the fact that you're out in nature, out in a remote area. You just want the one freaking trail. But anyways, so these is basically a silky saw. This one is not a silky saw, but basically your silky saws is what you're after as a backpacker, as a typical backpacker. And silky saws are also kind of like branching off of what a pruning saw really is. But yeah, your folding saw, that's what your Fiskars is. If you don't feel like spending the money, and you don't know that you're not going to put it through extreme use, your Fiskars brands pruning saws is essentially really, really similar to what the silky saw is. This is another brand that I found on Amazon that I did the stupid amount of research. It is company called Toolux. So Tool, the word tool, Tool, and then just UX after the L. So Toolux or Toolux. It is a 210 millimeter professional folding saw. The blade steel and the geometry of the teeth on this if you look into it, that makes a difference. It makes a difference in the performance of the saw, not just the blade steel, but the geometry of the design of the teeth on the blade. Makes a difference in how well this saw will go through material. This company does it exactly the same, mirrors how the silky saws are done. So the fact that it has the same blade material and the same tooth design, basically it's a silky saw. In my mind, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the same freaking blade coming out of the same manufacturing warehouse that all your silky saw blades are coming from. Just like a can of soup, or I mean, not necessarily soup, but like a can of vegetables, like a can of peas, can of corn. The corn goes through the same processing plant, the same factory, warehouse, whatever you want to call it, where it's processed, where it's packaged into the cans, the same corn into the same can, and just different companies, whether you get this brand from the supermarket, whether you buy that brand or you buy that brand or that brand. The only differences in 90% of those cans of corn per se is the amount of salt and or water that is put in the can with that vegetable. That's the only difference. And half of the time, there is no difference. They put the same amount of water in there, they put the same amount of salt in there. All they're doing is putting a different label. It's the same shit, it's just got a different label. It's the same corn coming from the same place. It's just a different label. And you can swear, you can sit there and do a taste test, a non-blind taste test. And some people even do it with a blind taste test. They will go because they know that not every single sampling is from the same brand. They will, in their mind, say, oh, well, that tastes different from that one, and that one tastes a little different from that one. And if you took your blindfold off and you realize that it's actually all the same corn from the same can, from the same can of the same brand, but because you were told that each sampling is a different brand, your mind tells you, oh, then they're from a different brand. That's the information that I've taken in, and so they must taste different. So then you reason with yourself in your mind that they taste different, even though they don't. It's kind of the same thing with where did this blade come from? It came from the same freaking factory as your silky saw. I don't know that for a fact. In this particular case, I do not know that for a fact. But my guess is that there's a high probability that it did. So I've had this saw for a handful of years, just a handful of years. I have a video on it. And I've used silky saws. Actually, I had one. Well, it wasn't mine. It was a friend's, but I had possession of it for quite a while. Yeah, this saw performs exactly like every silky saw I've ever put my hands on. It's still just as insanely sharp. The teeth are in fantastic shape, amazing shape. Very little signs of wear and tear. And it's got that position, the straight out position, as well as the rear position where it's angled, which is awesome when your log or whatever material you're cutting, your object that you're making your cut on is on flat ground, and you're bending over and you don't want your hand, or if it's suspended up in the air because there's a tree that has fallen and on a hillside, and so it's up in the air, and maybe there's branches in the way or whatever. This gives you a different angle, a different position, in order to be able to use the full length of the saw in the area that you're cutting without your hand hitting something that may be in the way. That extra angle helps if you know when to put it in that position and why it helps. So again, if you don't know how to use the tool, it ain't going to help you the way it's designed to help you. But yeah, how does it works? Unless it's if it's your regular, standard thick-walled PVC pipe. I mean, and let me highlight your question, dang Ross. That's a great question. Your standard walled PVC, that's the thicker stuff. It cuts through it fantastically. Awesome cut. If it's the real thin PVC, that's not designed for high pressure, or high temp water flow, so your thinner walled PVC, because of the teeth, the design of the teeth on the blade, it's gonna crack it. It doesn't always crack it, but if you're not careful, if you don't go slow, it'll end up cracking the PVC. So yeah, not that this is a good tool to use on PVC, but I know on gardeners, your landscapers that have those saws, and they'll use them on PVC. So that covers your hand axes and hatchets and the saw. Again, that kind of folding saw is fantastic for your smaller stuff. Anything that's no thicker than your upper arm. If you're looking at a tree of 5 to 12 inches in diameter, then you're gonna want one of those bow saws. And if it's more than 11, 12 inches in diameter, then I hope you brought a chainsaw, because I ain't gonna cut through it. Or one of those big logger saws. The saws that they used way back in the day. Well, they still use them, but those big long saws that have a handle on each end of it, and it's like 6 or 12 feet long, and it takes 2 guys to, back and forth. Yeah, I've used one of those once. Again, it was like a demonstration, and I was one of the volunteers that got called on to help with the demonstration. So, yeah, that's a lot of work. Can you imagine being a logger back in the days before chainsaws existed, before gas-powered chainsaws? Ugh. Oh, another one that I do have, and I brought it backpacking with me, I think once, and I brought it on a couple campouts, and over the years, and it actually works. Those pocket chainsaws. Have any of y'all seen those pocket chainsaws? What's up, Bluminati? How you doing, bud? Nice of you to stop in. Neil's here. Just in Ohio. Who the heck is Splitting Slices? Who's that? I don't know who that is. But welcome, nonetheless, welcome. Is Byron in here? No, Byron's in here? Or is Byron Splitting Slices? I know my wife popped in here. Oh, that's cool, man. Staining and sealing shelving units today. Knife blade blanks and canned corn. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. You know how I am. I kind of go off on these little miniature tangents. But yeah, the the pocket chainsaws, where it's basically just the chainsaw blade, and at each end of it, you got some kind of a nylon or leather strap or cordage. Even I've seen ones that just straight up have cordage. Okay, that's what I was suspecting. I was suspecting Byron is that's Byron. Right on, right on, right on. That's cool. Splitting slices. That's a good YouTube handle right there. That's a good name. But yeah, those pocket chainsaws are actually not bad. I mean, there's differences between them. You know, there's some of the cheaper ones. I would recommend. I don't have a video on them because I didn't care to do a video on them, but some are definitely better than others. Again, paying attention to the teeth, the design that they use on the chainsaw blades, the teeth themselves, and the way they're designed to cut. Some are better than others. They are not the same. They are not all the same. So look into that, do your research, your homework on that, and know that if you want to get one, because where I feel that they are the most advantageous to have and to keep is in the back of your vehicle, is in your car, truck, SUV, whatever you drive. Having one of those pocket chainsaws just thrown in a bag somewhere, or in the toolbox or whatever, because you never know when you're driving somewhere and there's some nasty weather and you're going down and you got to take one of those back roads because there's a big pile up accident with a couple 18 wheelers or whatever, and you're taking one of the back roads and a tree fell over the road and has blocked the road or whatever. Having that damn pocket chainsaw can be a savior, straight up savior. And they work. The better ones work, and they work pretty darn well. So and those things take up absolutely. I mean, when you roll it up and put it up into the little carry package, it's like the size of a pair of handcuffs. Like that's how small they are in the little package that they come in, that you store them in. So yeah, pocket chainsaws are sweet. They're not anything to, brush off as being gimmicky. They're not. I mean, they're the dirt cheap ones. There are the dirt cheap ones that don't work very well, and yes, those are gimmicky. But the ones that are good, they're good, and it's good to have them. So that's where I keep mine is in the car. So that way, if I go camping, I've got it in the car. It's not even in my camping gear. It's already in the car. So, yeah. All this talk of cutting wood, that's funny. Glad you live in the desert. Glad you live in the desert. But how do you do your campfires in the desert? How do you do it? All right, so that covers all that. Let's go into knives. Y'all ready to go into knives? All right, let's ask the question. Let's ask the question. If you're going backpacking, and you're absolutely bringing a knife, you've already made that decision that you're going to forgo the saw, and you're going to forgo the axe because either you don't own them, or you just don't like using them, or you suck at using them. Some people are just not good with the physical requirements, or the what's the right word? What's the right word? It's not clumsy, but they don't have the right motor skills to effectively and efficiently use a saw or axe. Those that are axe and saw challenged, we'll go with that. Or just straight up prefer a knife over those two. Would you pick a fixed blade or folder? Again, like we already discussed at the beginning of the live stream, where you're going Yeah, there we go, Dane Ross. Thanks. Mechanically inclined. That's kind of a more all-inclusive to many things, but mechanically inclined, you lacking the necessary motor skills. uh, are you going to bring a fixed blade or are you going to bring a folder? Brand new says fixed blade. He likes his fixed blades. I really like my fixed blades too, but not always. Not always. And there's good arguments for that too. There's really good arguments. All right. So for when I'm going tomorrow, when I do my little one-nighter trip tomorrow, yeah, the lows are going to be right around 48 to 52 degrees for that Friday night where I'm going. It's mildly wooded, so it's not heavy wooded. It's not high elevation. It's moderate elevation. It's in South Carolina, in one of the designated forests of South Carolina. They don't have very many, but it's in one of them where I'm going. So it's not high up in elevation. It's not going to be freezing cold. It's not. They didn't get any rain today. They're not going to have any rain tomorrow. So it's going to be pretty dry. So I don't have to worry about all those aspects giving me trouble with firewood. So I will have a fire. I'll do a little campfire. But again, I'm backpacking, so I'm not having a bonfire. I don't need to harvest, 50,000 logs and make a big bonfire. I just need something small, just enough to have that relaxing ambiance of a campfire as I relax in the evening there at my campsite where I set up my tent. And provide just a little bit of warmth and a little bit of extra light. If anything, when you're backpacking, that's kind of one of the bigger benefits. If it's not for warmth, and the ambiance bit of it is a bunch of bullshit. That's not a valid excuse for why you need a campfire. It's just not. It's like, okay, I like them because they're pretty, because they help calm me down. It's like yoga. No, that's a bullshit reason. Your fire better be for either light or warmth. So typically when you're backpacking, you're not bringing, 1,000 lumen light with you. You're not going somewhere that has electricity for you to bring, 500 strands of Christmas lights. So your light source is kind of typically down to a small little flashlight and or headlamp, right? Or if you bother to bring a lantern because you have the space and you don't mind the weight, it's usually a small lantern, right? You coming to the upstate? I will be in South Carolina, central South Carolina is where I will be doing this little one-night backpacking trip. So, yeah, the campfire's nice when you're backpacking for having a little bit of warmth, heat source, and then also for a little bit extra light. So you're not out there in the pitch black loneliness of the wilderness all by yourself. Build a fire. Man, you got jokes today, bro. I build a fire so that the voices don't make me burn down something important. Okay. I love that. You are making my day, dude. You are making my day. So I will have a campfire. It'll be a small campfire. So I won't really be harvesting a whole lot of wood, and my wood source, my fuel source, will not be soaking wet from any downpour. Massive amounts of rain. So yeah, it's going to be easy to harvest wood. So I really won't need to split it. I won't be needing to baton. I won't, if I choose a fixed blade over over a hatchet or hand axe. I'm not going to be, I'm might need to baton once or twice, if at all. You really kind of don't when the wood is dry. It's dead and it's dry, which this time of the year it's going to be dead and dry most likely 90% of the time, unless you choose to go backpacking during a hurricane or thunderstorm, which is not really a good idea. Yes, that can be a valid reason to have fire, is to keep bugs and animals away. You're really, animals wise, that's kind of, I mean, the animals don't mind getting within 10 to 15 feet of a fire if you've got food. And they're still going to try to steal food from you. If you've got food and there's a small to medium sized campfire, that little campfire is not going to deter them from making attempts at trying to get your food. And wild animals can be vicious as hell in trying to nab your food from you. They don't care what they do to you. If they can feel like they can get that food from you without you killing them, they're gonna make an attempt, and they're gonna weigh those risks. Maybe not as wisely as you would, or I would, but they're gonna evaluate their risk factor into how much they want that food, and that fire is not going to deter them. Now, if you take a long stick out of the fire and wave it at them or beat the shit out of them with it, which at that point, what good, what's the purpose of the fire on this end of the stick doing? You're just already just mauling the hell out of an animal with a long stick. But yeah, the fire's really not that big of as much of an animal deterrent as you might think. It's really realistically not. I've been there. I've seen it firsthand. Been a witness. So, bears don't care about small campfires at all. They do not flipping care. If you got something that they fucking want, they're taking it. They are taking it. They don't care about the fire. Many of them don't shy too far away from having a hot stick either. You waving around a hot stick. They don't care about that. The animals that do care about that, from what I've heard, because I've not had any experience with cats. Your bobcats, your mountain lions, those your cats don't want anything to do with fire. They really, really don't. So if you have a torch, a stick torch that you're waving around, they will stay back. They will stay away. They will avoid that very, very quickly. From what I've heard, what I've been told. But all right, so folders or fixed blades. Like I said, where I'm going, I really don't need the fixed blade. I really don't need the fixed blade. So a folder is going to more than serve my purpose for where I'm going and how short of a one-night backpacking trip that I'm doing. So I'm actually not going to bother taking a fixed blade. I'm going to take a folder because I don't see myself struggling in that area to harvest enough wood for 2 to 3 hours worth of a small campfire. There are other ways to break down sticks and get enough sticks and twigs and small branches, nothing all that substantial in thickness. I'm going to be able, I know that in the area that I'm going, I will be able to find enough, and I will be able to break it down and process it without needing a large fixed blade or a saw or a hatchet. I won't. And because of when I'm going, because it's not going to be freezing cold, and because I have no issues with being in the dark in the woods in that area, I don't have any major animals to be afraid of. It's going to be cold enough that the bugs are going to be at bay, so I don't have to worry about that either. There's not a reason that validates taking any of those larger wood processing cutting tools. I don't need them. Don't need them. So I'm not going to bring them. I'm going to just bring a knife, a folding knife. Now, if I was going to bring a fixed blade, you want besides an SE6, which they're good, again, with the contoured handles. I don't like the flat handles. And I say that, but yet then I hold up this guy. This is the Tops Tex Creek XL. It is a 6¼ inch blade, I believe. And it's got, they're flat scales, but yeah, they're flat scales. They're not contoured, but because it's not a wide handle, it is, and the edges are rounded so beautifully. This is actually truly is a very comfortable handle for thwacking away. Like, I can do this for an hour and not get blisters, not get hot spots, not be in pain and hate myself for having to chop that much. This will do that kind of work for that length of time, despite the fact that they're not contoured handles. It's the rest of the design of the handle that makes up for that. So yeah, so I love this knife. I absolutely love this knife. This has been on plenty of backpacking trips. It's been on a handful of camping trips, and I love it. It's an awesome knife. It is great to use. It's Tops. It's $10.95, and they do an outstanding job with the heat treat and the grind on the blade edge. Cannot go wrong with Tops, in my opinion. And it's got a beautiful leather sheath. The only thing that I wish was different, which I could buy just the attachment dangler if I wanted to, but it does not come stock in the mail with a dangler. I'm pretty sure you can buy them from Tops. It's an option now on their website, if I'm not mistaken. You can get a dangler for this thing, but when I bought it without the dangler, and I kind of wish I had a dangler. But again, I don't go out enough. I don't use the knife quite enough to where I feel I haven't bothered to buy the dangler. And partially why I haven't bothered to buy the dangler is because I have this knife, and this knife does have a dangler. What is great about the dangler? What is so awesome about having a dangler? One, when you're moving through thick brush, if your environment, if you're out in the woods and there's a bunch of brush and it's thick, if you're having to go through some tougher terrain, this thing moves out of the way. It doesn't catch. It's so much less likely to catch and get hung up on something. It'll just move out of the way. You attach it to your belt. It's easy to take on and off of your belt because it's just snaps, right? They're just snaps. Two heavy duty snaps. So it's easy to take off and put back on when you don't want to have it on you. And it bounces out of the way, bounces off of things, so it's not going to snag you. And most importantly, what I appreciate the most is when I'm sitting down. When I go to sit down or squat, when you have it fixed, especially your longer sheaths, and it's not on a dangler, and it's just straight parallel, you go to squat down, get low to the ground, or have to lay down on the ground for whatever reason, or you're sitting on top of a stump or log or rock or whatever, or your small camping backpacking chairs that are real low to the ground. This thing is just going to hit the damn ground. As soon as you get down low, it's going to hit the damn ground, and it's annoying. It's annoying as hell. And if you don't have enough space on, or your belt's thin enough to where you can twist it a little bit to kind of kick it back and get it out of the way so it's not digging into the damn dirt, it's annoying. The longer blades, longer sheaths, it is really, really nice to have a dangler. So what is this guy? This is the, in case you were not asking, this is the Joker Campero, or Camp Arrow if you are not inclined to Spanish. If you hate Spanish and you refuse to try to speak Spanish, then this is the Camp Arrow. Sorry. Couldn't help myself. This is funny. This is the Campero, or Comparo. If you want to try to sound French. Or from Spain, like you're from Spain. I don't know. I am so terrible at doing accents. I am one of the worst people to ask to try to do an accent of any sort. But yeah, your Joker knives. And what I love about this guy is it's a 4 3/4 or 5-inch blade, somewhere right around there. This is a fantastic bushcrafting fixed blade. You got paracord to do the specific wrap around so that it's in your hand, and that way, if you lose your grip, it stays with you, but it doesn't cut you. It doesn't go flying. You don't end up chopping off a toe. That kind of a deal is a good thing. But it's got micarta handle scales, and they are contoured as hell, and this thing is comfortable as all get out in the hand. Like, I could cut for days with this thing. I could use this thing over and over, day after day, hours and hours. This is an awesome handle, excellent ergos for the grip, and it's just a nice stocky blade. And what's fantastic about this particular one, which Joker uses a good bit of 14C28N steel, but that's the steel. It's a 14C28N steel, and if you live and do most of your bushcrafting type stuff and outdoorsy stuff in a slightly wetter environment like me here in the deep south of Georgia, it's nice having the stainless steel. It's nice not having to worry about rusting and corrosion on your 1095 if you don't have the 1095. So, yeah. And I say that, yet I've never had any 1095 rust on me. Why? Probably because I bother enough to take care of my knives enough to prevent that rust and corrosion from happening on my 1095. But I've also, at the same time, never had any of my non-stainless knives hang out in the outdoors 24/7 for long, several months. I'm always able to take them home and clean them up and store them in a nice dry place where they are protected. But if you don't want a big one, these are my two big ones, and I love these. These are awesome. And I would baton with both of them if I needed to. I prefer not to. Try to avoid it if I can by using other tools, other ways, other methods. But if I have to baton with one of my large fixed blades, then I am comfortable and confident with those brands, knowing that they will get the job done. And the only reason why I don't have an SE6 is because I'm partial to tops. I love tops. I love tops. I had an OKC for a while, but again, Ontario Knife Company. I had one of theirs, basically the equivalent to an SE5, I think is what my OKC was. Yeah, I think it was like a 5-inch or 5 1/4 inch blade. I had one for a couple years, and it was the flat scales and the ergos that bothered me with the whacking and thwacking with that fixed blade, and I ended up selling it because I didn't like the ergos for doing a lot of whacking and thwacking. So it wasn't fulfilling my needs in a happy way for me. I wasn't happy. So the before we get I got smaller fixed blades. I got a couple to show you, and then we will do the gall, and then we'll cover lastly your folders. If anybody wants to stick around for folders. But here, let me hit up the smaller fixed blades. There's two that I really like for the backpacking. Well, three actually. In fact, give me 1 second to grab the third one. I forgot to grab it earlier. Oh, shut up, cat. The third one is the one that lives in my man purse. I love my man purse. So there's a video on it and all the shit that I throw in this thing. It holds a lot. Like, I feel like a damn woman practically. When I dive through this bag and like, oh, look at how much things I can fit in here. Look at all this stuff I can put in this bag. This is crazy. Here it is. Yeah, had to dig through it. So yeah, I guess we'll hit this one first since I just went and grabbed it and had to move to get to it. But like I said, I love tops. This is the El Pionero, the good old El Pionero. It's a little stabby, pokey little fixed blade. It is basically a tactical paring knife with the way the handle ergos are done, with the notch and the groove there, so that you can so many different grips, so many ways of holding this thing, and it's comfortable in every single way, and it's just a sweet little, not super thick blade stock either, and it's tapered there towards the tip, so you got a nice thin blade stock towards the tip there. Yeah, really like this knife. The weight, the balance on it is super good, and it comes with a Kydex sheath, and I've got the Ulti clip on there. Love the Ulti clip being on the smaller Kydex sheaths. Best clip. You just, yeah, absolutely love the Ulti clip on these smaller Kydex sheaths. It makes every bit of sense. So yeah, that would be a small fixed blade that I would take with me backpacking and camping, to have a nice little small fixed blade that can do your smaller breakdown of your wood, for getting your kindling and your feather sticking. Excellent for feather sticking. That thing, I'd be fine and wouldn't have any trouble filleting a fish with it. If I was catching fish, I'd use the El Pionero. Yeah, it is an excellent little pokey. Yeah, it's a fantastic, and then food prep, obviously, slicing your steak up. Great little blade for that. The next one And Grumpy Grunt loves this knife too. It's the Tops Bull Trout. Did I mention that I was a fan of Tops? I kind of like Tops. I don't know if you knew that. But yeah, the Bull Trout. This was entirely designed with the mindset of fish and game, small game, filleting fish and processing small game. It's got the belly, it's thin, is strong enough and thick enough of a blade stock for even getting through your smaller bones in small game, your squirrels, rabbits, foxes, that kind of stuff. That annoying ass raccoon that's been keeping you up all night because it ate your coffee grounds out of your backpack. That's an awesome story. That didn't happen to me. Happened to an adult on a camping trip when I was a teenager. That shit was hilarious. There were four raccoons, and they got into his backpack and ate through the backpack material as well as another cloth bag that he had the coffee ground block in, your little coffee ground blocks, the frozen blocks. That's what he had. So that block was in his packaging, right? In his packaging, inside a Ziploc bag that was inside a cloth bag that was inside a pocket in his backpack. So all those layers these raccoons chewed and clawed and ate through to get to this block of coffee grounds, and the 3 or 4 of these raccoons devoured those damn coffee grounds, and it got the caffeine high of a freaking lifetime. They were bouncing around in the trees and for like hours through the night. And they wouldn't go away either. They were yapping and talking and making all kinds of racket and jumping from tree branch to tree. Man, they were so annoying. We did not sleep good that night. Nobody did because of those stupid ass raccoons. And that dad was royally pissed about this. Not only his coffee grounds getting stolen, but getting nabbed, but also the fact that his pack, had these big holes in it. So yeah, it was a bad day for him, a bad night for him. It was a really, really bad night for him, and then it was hilarious, but not a very peaceful, restful night for the rest of us either. Yeah, exactly, brand new. They love the freaking, and I think that's what it was. I wouldn't be surprised if that what it was, because your Colombian coffee, is much more sugary in the way they store it, and the way they process it. You end up with a very sweeter, sugary bean, and yeah, raccoons they go nuts for that shit. They really do. So yeah, so the Tops Bull Trout, another really awesome little fixed blade. What I did to mine was, and when I show you the next knife, you'll understand why. What I did to mine was, I know the camera's not going to show it all that great. I took the Dremel to the finger choil here and slightly rounded, polished the edges on that finger choil, so that they weren't feeling like the 90-degree of the top, so that when you're in that finger choil, it's more comfortable. It doesn't make a massive difference, but it makes a very noticeable difference. And I really, really am happy that I did that to this knife, because yeah, it not a massive difference, but a noticeable difference. And I love it. And then yeah, so that's that one. And the reason why I did that was the reason why I discovered that I could and should do that to that knife is because before I bought the bull trout, I had purchased a couple years before that the White River. This is, most people know it as the M1 backpacker, but they call the one that has the non-removable. I mean, it's non-removable in the fact that it's not screws. That's you know, the brass, or not brass, but it's whatever these things are called. I don't want to think anymore. I really don't want to think anymore. What's the name of these thingies? Somebody help me out here. Um, but yeah, so this is my car to handle material, and these pins are done to hold it on there. And yes, it does. Here, I'll get to it. Give me a second. But yeah, just okay. Pins. They're not finger holes. They're not glory holes. They're not big enough. I don't know of anybody who has a pee that small, except for maybe a newborn. But it has a massive forward choil slot, and they beautifully rounded that sucker completely, including on that spot, that part of it right there. So it is insanely comfortable. But this is the M1 Caper, is how White Mountain names this one. This is the M1 Caper, which is because it is a caper knife design. This is your textbook caper knife. If you look up caper knife, this is textbook definition of one. Exactly how this. Yeah, it's brass tube scale pins, but these are not brass. These are uh whatever. I don't know if it's also the S35VN, which is the blade steel, is S35VN, which White River has now gone to. I think they're offering some of their models in, what is it, S90V now? So was it S90V or S45? I forget what it is. I'm not gonna pull it up now, but it's gonna bug me. I'm gonna have to look it up because I can't remember. But yeah, White Mountain Knives is offering another even more premium steel than the S35. But yeah, this guy again, when it's done as no scales or with the paracord or with the G10, they call it the backpacker. But the when it's the micarta handle scales, they call it the M1 caper. So yeah, their decisions, not mine. But yeah, the sheath for it is a kydex sheath, and it has your belt, you fold it over belt loop deal like that. And the beauty of it is that you can do a scout carry on it. You can set it up for scout carry, or you can set it up for regular vertical carry. Or you can do what I did here, is put it on at an angle. And I like it at an angle for cross draw carry. That is the most comfortable way to carry it for me. This particular knife. If the knife is smaller or shorter, if it's not as long, if it's a more compact knife, then I want it in uh, scout carry, horizontal carry. If it's this size, if it's with that 3-inch blade, 7.5, less than 8 inches, then that size I love doing. If it's not in a leather sheath, if it's in a kydex sheath, then I can do a cross draw, cross my body carry with it being angled to where I'm literally, I'll try to show you here. So let's say it's in my on my belt, right? The belt loop, belt's going through there just like that, right? So it's across my body. It is there at an angle, and I'm pulling it out at that angle, and it's immediately like pulling it out of the sheath. I'm already ready to go straight into a plunge cut. Just already ready to go straight onto material comfortably with my hand, just straight onto material. So that's why I like this knife in the sheath that it goes in being set up that way. That is the most comfortable way for me to carry and use this knife. And it works great on your pack, on your backpacking pack, done that way as well. Just having it at that angle. Are y'all laughing at the fact that I stood up and yeah, brand new, really, dude, really? Could have sold that kidney. Keeps my pubes trimmed. Okay. Alrighty, y'all got jokes. Y'all are so damn funny today, and it's not Friday. It's not Friday. You would think it is with how hilarious y'all are cutting up. I love it. I love it. I appreciate it. Don't stop. Don't stop. But yeah, so I fell in love with this thing the minute that I saw it on their website when they came out with it all those years ago. But that is also a really, really sweet knife. I have one other one that I've never brought this with me in all by itself. I've always had a folder with me, or a larger fixed blade, or the saw, or a hatchet. But in all realistic practicality, most of the time going backpacking, this is all I need. This is all I would need. So many times that I've gone out on my trips, a fixed blade that's 2-inch blade, 2 inches of sharpened edge is really, and a 3-finger grip is really all I need. And it's almost 2.5. It's only 3-finger because of how far out that swoop goes with all the jimping, which is beautiful. So yeah, this is a freaking awesome little fixed blade that weighs absolutely nothing, comes in this Kydex sheath. I actually did, this guy is not the clip that came with the sheath that came with this knife. I can't even remember what clip came with this thing. But this is from this particular clip belt loop deal is from the CRKT Minimalist. I have 2 of the CRK Minimalist. I have the one with the original drop point blade, and then I have the one that has like the little cleaver chopper blade. Those are cool little knives too. You could definitely go with those. Those are great. But this guy it's a who made it? It is a Winkler. It is a Winkler Designs. And I think the name of the etching on it is like the Old Man Mountain etching design. And it's on both sides. And it's cool. I just thought it was a really cool little 3-finger fixed blade. And it's got the holes, so you could, if you really wanted to, you could make and put some handles on there, and even make the handle a little bit longer to make it a 4-fingered fixed blade if you really wanted to. Because it's got those holes in there. Or you could throw a thick-ass lanyard and a massive-ass bead. You could totally doomify it if you're like the Beard of Doom and just obsessed with having lanyards on all your shit now. But what's really cool about the sheath on this guy is the way the Kydex is. That part of the Kydex is bent over the choil of the knife. so that in order to pull it so it holds it in there, holds it in place. And this thing is solid. No movement. Nothing. Shaking it this way, shaking it this way, shaking it that way. This thing does not budge because of that, and the fact that it was just a well pressed Kydex sheath. But what you do is you push this guy backwards in order for the blade to come out. You push it backwards. So as a lefty, I'm doing it like that. I don't know if I could do it. Let's see. Yeah. So I guess you would use your pointer finger to push it down and out and away in order to release it. You kind of got to do it quick and release and let go. Get your finger out of the way rather quickly. Otherwise, you could, I guess, possibly cut yourself. I don't know. I've never done it, and I've never had to really think about it. But yeah, so this guy is awesome, and this guy I would, if it's, I'd rather have this guy attached to the straps on my shoulder of my pack than I would on my waist. It's too small for on my waist. It's way too small for me to want to have it on my waist. So I have it set up with this loop here so that it will go onto my pack strap. And that way it's like right here. So as I'm hiking, as I'm going down the trail, I have that knife right there for me to grab. Right there on my pack. If I set my pack down, it's right there on the strap of my pack. I know where it's at. So sweet little knife. And I guess the CRKT Minimalist would essentially, be the same way. I don't know what steel this is. I want to say it might be ABL, which is an awesome steel for fixed blades. I'm not 100% sure. You'd have to look it up. But for whatever reason, my mind wants to say that that's what it is. So that is thoughts on what fixed blades you might want to bring on a backpacking trip. And again, really, primarily with everything depends on where you're going and what you plan on doing with your knife. What are you going to end up cutting? Are you going to end up chopping? Or do you want to baton? All those, you just got to figure that out. For each time you go, where you go, what time of the year you go, that kind of thing. All right, so let's do the giveaway. Let me grab the giveaways. I got a trifecta for y'all. Some fun little goodies. Since I love you, since I appreciate you, and it is the week of Valentine's Day. Guess what I got my wife for Valentine's Day besides chocolate and a big old kiss? I got her towels. I bought my wife towels. Mrs. Urban got towels, but not just any towels. She got. I bought some nicer towels than the standard towels that we have like 100 of. But I got the oversized towels. Now that our butts are bigger and we put on maybe a few extra pounds than we should have, no, just she and I both like the larger towels. I'm sure every adult loves the larger dimensioned towels. It's nicer to have a bigger towel, right? I don't think it's Egyptian cotton. Let me see. I'll grab them. They're right here behind me. And they're fancy also in the fact that they're from a store that I absolutely don't like to shop in. I really do not like to shop in this store. It is a store with a big old Target because the name of the store is Target. I do not care for Target. Let's see. Yeah. Oversized performance plus bath towel. Durability and fade resistance plus extra softness and absorbency, right? so the dimensions are 33 wide by 63 inches long. And anything more than 30 inches wide and more than 55 inches long is kind of, yeah, usually your standard towel sizes are around 28 to 30, or 27 to 30. I've seen some that are 27. Yeah, 27 to 30 inches wide. And then they're about somewhere between 50 and 56 inches in length. So the next size up is pretty much this one right here. I've seen in shopping online, I saw some plus size towels, which they actually, what do they call them? They call them bath sheets. At some point, the size of them are of such large dimensions that it's no longer a towel; it is a bath sheet. I did not know that. I learned that. I learned something new the other day. Never bothered to pay that much attention to the nitty gritty details of towels. But yeah, just in Ohio, I like big towels, and I cannot lie. uh, but yeah, I don't think they're what are, they're 100% cotton, but I don't think they're Egyptian cotton. I don't know. If it wasn't for the political issues going on in the world, and safety and security, Egypt is actually one place in this world that I have not been to that I would, in theory, really like to go. I would love to see the Egyptian pyramids. I would love to see the Egyptian tombs and all that stuff. Like, I just think that history is a bit of history that I haven't gotten to experience that I would love to experience. I'd love to see those things. And I'd like to see that their culture. I hate dates. I can't stand dates. I tried dates when I was younger. Ugh, gross. They're so gross. But yeah, no, and these are dark gray, so it's a good color that I like. I don't know. I don't like the frou colors. I don't like your fruity colors, your salmon or your tans, and I can't stand white towels. I hate white towels. I see a white towel, and I think it's a hotel towel. That's just where my mind goes. It's just hotel towel. And most of your hotel towels, at least most of the hotels, the majority of the hotels that I've stayed in are more of your budget-friendly hotels. So their white towels are really shitty. They're really scratchy and they're small, and I hate them. And I hate that they're white. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of white towels. Some of the nicer, more prestige hotels, their white towels, on the other hand, are cream of the crop. Yeah, easy clean bleach. Yeah. Like, I'm not white skinned enough. I need to bleach my towels that I will then dry myself with, so I can be even more white. But all right, giveaway items. I still have a couple of these, and so I'm kind of just just over time giving each one away. But let's go with the O knife, multifunction, multi-tool, O tackle K1. Right? Is that the K1 or the KI, whatever it is? But yeah, it's the oversized keychain knife. They're a little bit bigger than your SD classics, but again, like really really useful oversized keychain knife. Excellent scissors, very nice scissors on them. The scissors are actually have like they're micro serrated, which helps in keeping the scissors sharp all that much longer. Let me grab mine. I put mine on the motorcycle. Hey, keep it down, Cody. You're loud. Yeah, I've got mine on my motorcycle keyring. And so the scissors are over here. And so, unlike the SD Classic, which has the little tiny spring deal in the middle, which I've broken one or two of in the past. This guy is designed with its, you can see it on this side. Yeah, is it on that side or the other side? Oh, no, I had it right. It's got the extra bar. You see the extra bar there that provides the tension, that tension bar? Yeah. So that is actually a more durable engineering way of providing that tension rather than the tiny little super thin spring deal that is in between your SD Classics. But I mean that design fits the SD Classic because it's such a smaller. It is definitely a smaller pair of scissors. But yeah, these scissors are awesome. Very, very sharp scissors. Really, really good scissors. Then you have your penknife on the other side, and then what like your SD Classic does not have, it has this guy, which gives you your bottle opener and can opener. How badass is that? And then your flathead on the end of it. You know, like your flat-headed screwdriver bit on the end of it. So, and then supposedly this guy right here, this extra groove right here on the innermost part of the tool, that is a wire stripper. You can actually strip your wires with that. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a toothy of a sharp edge on the inside part of it. So yeah, you can actually strip wires with that. I did it once just to see if it worked, and it did. It's not great, but it works. And then lastly, it has a pair on the very end. It has your dinky tweezers. Your dinky tweezers, which are not great, but they work in a pinch. Right? So that's item one. Behind curtain number 2, I have for the gall winner today your Olight Diffuse. I know it looks like it says diffuser, but that's not an R. That's just the way they did the cursive writing in that font. It's just it got an E with an extra long ass tail for some dumb reason. That makes it very confusing. Thank you, Olight asshats, for doing that. But the name of this flashlight is Diffuse, not diffuser. Diffuse. Okay? Would it have been cooler if it had been named Diffuser? Yes. I would have rather had been Diffuser rather than Diffuse. I think Diffuse is kind of a dumb name, but you know, I'm not in charge of naming it. It's a cool light. I have mine right here in one of these drawers. I have so much shit in so many drawers. Where'd it go? Here it is. So it is a very, very basic, great for kids, great for the wife, extremely user friendly. Your grandma could work it because it is literally just the one button for on and off. If you hold it down, you change the brightness levels, but it's got the memory, so you know if whatever. It's a great, very standard flashlight that goes off of, you spin the cappy, and it goes off of the Olight's rechargeable lithium-ion battery. It's the 920 mAh 36 volt, but you can also throw a AA in this thing. This is basically just a AA on steroids. Essentially, is what this battery is. It's this almost identical in dimensions. I think it's diameter wise an ever so slight smidge thicker, larger in diameter, maybe, if at all. I mean, just so subtle, just because it's got the recharge USB-C. That's USB-C. So that drops in there. So if you replace that particular battery with a standard AA, I always recommend for flashlights take AA's or AAA's that you use the Energizer lithium batteries because not only are they lighter weight, but they hold they hold their juice much longer with almost no risk of acid leaking like your regular alkaline batteries. If they sit in a device for several years, more often than not they end up leaking all that battery acid and destroy the inside of the flashlight, and that sucks. That really sucks when you're a kid and it's your controller for your remote control car that you freaking love that Santa brought you. Yes, lots of crying tears. It's so terrible. But yeah, it's a great flashlight. The only thing that I wish that they did differently, if you haven't noticed, if you don't know what it's missing a pocket clip. If they had designed the cap to hold a pocket clip so that you could have a pocket clip that would be insanely easy to remove when you don't want it, but go on there just fine without any trouble when you do want it. Like, it would just be nice to have a pocket clip on this guy. Instead, you do the little lanyard doodaddy and you call it a day. But I do love the light. Not only is it in a sweet looking red color, but I do like the design of the shape of it and the help me out with my geometry. What is this shape? What is this shape? Is that pentagon? It's not a hexagon. Is that a pentagon? But anyways, it's got flat sides, so it doesn't roll around like crazy. That's always a good thing. Pentagram. Thank you, B&A. Yeah, a pentagram, pentagon. I was right. I knew what I was talking about. I've had a very long day, okay? So yeah, so we got those two. And then I was not sure if I wanted to give away this patch because I like this patch. But since the theme of today's topics was backpacking cutting tools, I'm going to give away this patch. This is a pretty sweet patch. A path without obstacles leads you nowhere. Truer words have never been spoken, right? But I like this patch. Has a good truthful words, and the mountains and the trees and the river or road or whatever you want to. I guess that's a road. It's a path. I don't see any dashed lines on it, so I guess it's not a road. It's just a paved path. But yeah, obstacles makes you stronger, makes you wiser. So, cool patch. Nice patch. I better take off the price tag so y'all know how much or how little I spent on this patch. Because I'm a cheap ass. But yeah, so that's it. So that's the trio, the trifecta. I am sorry for the last handful of giveaways. I am and will be, and you're not going to change this. I am terrible at including sticker swag. Like, I don't have a bunch of it. I do. I don't know. For whatever reason, I forget. It escapes my mind to throw some of that stuff in my giveaway packages. I don't know why. I don't know why. So whoever wins this, when you contact me via either Instagram or email, if you want some swag pack and some stickers and whatnot, let me know. Remind me, please, for the love of God, remind me, because otherwise I will forget. My brain just it will pass me up completely. I will totally forget, as I have done in the past several times. I started off, I was pretty good. I was pretty good when I started doing giveaways. I was pretty good at throwing stickers in. But for whatever dumbass reason, more recently, for the last 3 to 4 months, in the last 3 to 4 giveaways that I've done, I have forgotten. And that's really silly of me to have. All right, I'm looking for. We'll use this right here. Piece of scratch, whatever, to write on, so I can write. We play in the number game as usual because I don't have 100 of y'all, and I am also one of the believers of the algorithmed random choice of the hashtag phrase or whatever. I don't believe in that shit being as fair as everybody says it is. I just think that there's fault in the system. So I'm going to trust not that system. My pens are all up here. All right, so the thinking of numbers, entering the mental database of numbers. What? How many do we got? About 15 dozen so people in here, close to. I would like to think that there's at least 10 of y'all. Don Ray's in here. Todd Carr, what up, man? How's that bowl treating you, bro? How you liking that bowl, bro? These are not terms that I use. I have been my almost 15-year-old. It says bro and cap terribly way too much. And so in effort to try to get him to stop, I've purposely overused it in language with him. So now I'm getting to be as bad as he is. It's terrible. The goal is not happening. It's not being achieved. It is backfiring badly because I am saying bro and cap to other people that I have no intentions of using that street slang at all. Yeah, thank you. ATK is a terrible strategy. Terrible strategy is not working. I'm failing miserably at it. Failing miserably. Oh. I hate those words. I hate that street slang shit. Bro, bra, and cap. Like, why do we gotta say cap? If you're saying it's bullshit, just say bullshit. I'd rather hear bullshit out of a 10-year-old than hear him say cap. Oh, that's cap. So stupid. Such a dumbass thing to say. Sorry. I regress. Digress. Whatever. Fuck. Shut up. Shut up, Urban. 22. The range is going to be 22 to 163. We'll do that. All right. Let me put up a start. START, I believe is how you spell start, right? All right. The start is up, and your range. Come on, camera. It's 22 to 163. There we go. 22 to 163. The start is up. Y'all guess away. I will type in the range for you. 122 to 163 is your range. $22 to $163. Y'all guess away. And as y'all guess away, let me hit up folders. Backpacking folders. And I will start off with my number one pick these days. Well, pretty much since I got it. And I talked about it. Didn't I talk about it on my last live? Didn't I talk about this knife on my last live? This is the Spyderco Stretch 2 in K390. And y'all love. This is an amazing steel. If you've not had the privilege of working with some K390 steel, damn, does it make a sweet edge. Oh, I love that steel. One of my top 5 favorite steels is K390. You want something that has insanely sharp, biting edge, something that just screams at the material that you're cutting through, just screams at it, just makes it feel like fucking butter. K390 is such a sweet steel, and it's easy to sharpen it. Like, it's for how sharp you can get it, as easily as you can get it there, and it hold that edge as long as it does, and it's very rust corrosion resistant. So yeah, what an amazing steel. And Spyderco, everybody should know that Spyderco does a bang up job. But yeah, the main reason why I love this thing as much as I do, besides the steel, obviously, is because one is a backlock. You can't go wrong with a backlock. And I like that it's a mid backlock, but how they do this backlock to where with a forward choil, which I absolutely love a forward choil like that, a full forward choil, fact that you can put your finger right there, pinch that backlock, and fling that blade forward, and knowing that where I place my finger, it's not going to cut me when it falls into that position, I can do that and then bring it down using the Spidey hole, completely open and close this sucker one-handed. There are not very many knife companies that do backlocks that can do that. That you can do that with that simple, that easy, not thinking about it. Todd, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, because this thing has been in rivers and streams and lakes and, sat out in the rain for a couple hours and just wiped it clean and put it back in the pocket, put it back in its home when I get home. I've not had any issues with this knife, with this steel, getting any speck of surface rust. And I don't even, I clean it off. I clean my knife when I get tape marks and other sticky residue of whatever I've cut with it. I just use the WD-40 to clean the blade. I put knife lube in the pivot area for the backlock and every knife. But yeah, I put pivot lube in those areas. But as far as just cleaning off the blade, there's not a knife that I have cleaned the blade off with anything other than two things. WD-40 and your Remington gun oil that's in that spray can. I have the spray can of the Remington gun oil that I use on my firearms and knives, occasionally on knives. That's the only thing that I use for cleaning off the blades. And then I have a couple of different pivot lube oils that I use for the pivots and inner workings, but that's it. And I've not had any issues, 0 issues. All right. Now, again, in mindset with the back lock being an absolute no-brainer when it comes to backpacking as far as a lock mechanism. The back lock and then the triad lock, which is essentially a very smart evolution of the back lock, in my opinion. That's how I would describe it. But yeah, back lock and triad lock is kind of the no-brainer. I do not have a cold steel folder. I do not have anything that has a triad lock. I do have the shark lock, and whatever's the one that's that Civivi named for the Vision. I have that. I have those two, but I do not have a triad lock. I do not have anything with a triad lock. But you can't go wrong with the Buck 110, and if anything, go with the Buck 110 Slim because it's lighter weight and thinner, easier in and out of pocket. You get the micarta handle scales, even better, and you get the S30V blade steel on the blade. Yeah, can't go wrong with this guy. This would be an excellent backpacking knife. And so back locks and triad locks are they're very extremely reliable, extremely strong, especially triad lock, but even old-fashioned back locks are very strong lock for a folding knife, and reliable in every sense of the design of the lock. But they're also when you go with back lock, where's your holes that you're going to get all that dust and dirt and grime and everything else in? There are none. There are none, right? So it's a very closed up, resistant to crap getting filled up inside and interfering with the workings of the locking mechanism of the knife. That is what's awesome about having a back lock when you're out there in the elements. It's the fact that you really don't have to worry too much. If I don't worry at all about these getting grimed up with dirt. You know, you kick it across the ground, you blow it out, and you wipe it off, and you're good to go. You're good to go. When you get home, squirt some oil, hit it with the air compressor, put another drop of oil back in it. You're good to go. So yeah, can't go wrong with those locks for backpacking. Another fantastic folding knife to go with for backpacking is your Swiss Army style knife. Obviously, because not only do you get a blade, but you get all those other fun tools. You get your can opener, you get your bottle opener, you get your flathead screwdriver, you get your awl or whatever. You get some tweezers, even you get some a toothpick. How fantastic is it to have a toothpick for whatever? But one particular one that I like very much that is not of your Victorinox brand is this guy. It is the MKM Malga, which is a dumbass name for it. I don't remember what Malga means. I did look it up when I bought it because I was curious. But what's so fantastic about this one is two things. One, your blade on it is an M390. So you got a very high edge retention blade and tough blade compared to your Victorinox Swiss Army knives. The rest of the knife is not they don't use your I don't know what the steel is, but it's not M390. They only use M390 on the blade. It's got the corkscrew, which works fantastic if you bring that bottle of wine or whatever out there backpacking with you. Yeah, because everybody likes to bring a bottle of wine when they go backpacking. No, the second tool that I like very much is this guy. And it's argued that this is supposed to be a fork. This is supposed to be your cocktail fork that you can use to eat with. But my issue with it is that they put the location of it is right there on the same side, right there with your lanyard tube hole thingamabobber. So if you put any kind of a lanyard thing there to help with pulling it out of a slip or pulling it out of your pocket or bag or whatever, then what you have to, you no longer can hold it from back here when you use it as a fork. You have to then, hold that lanyard in place somehow, some way, and hold it, closer down to where the fork is, much closer to your food. Well, when you're backpacking and you're eating those freeze-dried meals in those bags are so tall that even this is going down into the bag, and you're getting any food that's inside that bag, you're getting that up around your hands. So that's where these guys are the preferred way to eat your backpacking meals in those freeze-dried bags, because it has a very nice long shaft. And you know how the ladies love a nice long shaft. But no, seriously, having that length allows you to keep your hands from getting all over your food. Who gave this to me? I don't remember. Who was the kind sir that sent me another one of these? I have two others. The other two I prefer because they're sporks. They have the fork prongs to it. But and the bowl part of it on the other two that I own is also polished smooth. I am one of those picky ass motherfuckers that doesn't like my tongue touching that texture. I don't know why. I don't know why. But yeah, so I wish that the fork was not, well, the lanyard thingy was not on the same end that the fork was on. Otherwise, I'll tell you what this works for even better than being a fork. You know what this works better than as being a fork? It works better as being a beard comb. Yeah, it does. It really, honestly, it actually does work extremely well as a beard comb. Y'all know I'm batshit crazy, right? I love y'all. I love that y'all can put up with me and that y'all spit out jokes even funnier than I am. But no, going full circle, these are excellent backpacking folders because it gives you all those tools. You don't necessarily have to put it in your pocket. You can put it in your bag. A lot of your newer backpacks, backpacking backpacks, have on the hip straps, they have little zippered pockets, because when you put on those hip straps, it kind of doesn't allow you to get into your pockets so easily. Because the hip straps, they're covering the opening area of your pants pockets. So having the pockets on the backpack straps, on the waist straps, allows you to be able to put things like this or whatever in those pockets that you would normally put in your pants pockets if you didn't have your pack on. All right. Um. So yeah, going back to backlocks. This, and I'm just showing this because this was actually my very first backpacking knife, true backpacking knife. And this guy did almost right about 2/3 of the Appalachian Trail with me, along with lots of other sections of trail in many places across the country. It's a buck. I don't remember what the model number is or name of it is. I'd have to look it up again. I've looked it up several times and yet I still can't remember it, retain it in my noggin. But and it's just their 420, I think, steel 420 or 440. It does not have the Boss heat treat on it, so it's just their standard. Is a very inexpensive knife that I want to say that I possibly bought it at a Bass Pro Shop back when I was like 13 years old. But I've had it in of course, this edition, this lanyard with the casing, brass casing there. It is an addition that happened when I was much, much older. Um, but this thing has served me very, very well. Very, very well. And surprisingly, I have not sharpened it that many. I've sharpened it, but not that many times. It was a wider blade at one time. But yeah, so that's that one. Now, if you want a beefy, strong folder, a beefy, strong folder, I really honestly don't know anybody who likes doing the dishes. Who likes doing the dishes? But if the weight did not bother me, and I don't know very many backpackers that these days that the weight doesn't bother them. I mean, we care about weight. The more shit, the heavier the shit that we gotta lug around with us, the more painful it is. But if you want a really beefy monster folder for backpacking, how about them apples? This is the collaboration between Buck and Tops. This is the Caesar T. Not a very popular knife. There were not all that many of these made for the sake of the fact that they didn't make very many for all that length of a time. This one's actually numbered, and it's number 095. 095. But it's an all USA made and a collaboration between Tops and Buck knives. And it is a monster beefy folder. That kind of clip, that's an American clip right there. That's what they do. American made knives, 100% American made knives. That's your type of clip. If you have not watched Sharif's video on American made knives that he just recently did, I believe this week, that is an awesome video, and I really, really think you should watch it. Check out Sharif's video on American made knives. He did a really good job. I do not like thumb disc, and I made sure he knew in the comments. Love that dude to death, but I hate thumb discs. But yes, this is a thick boy. Just in Ohio, this is a thick boy. He's a beastie. He's a beastie badass. I love the fact that they did the lightning bolt there between Tops and Buck. I love the lightning bolt. I like the lightning bolt probably because of the fact that I've been struck by lightning indirectly twice, and survived. That's partially why I'm so messed up. No, but yeah, and then I'm not a hairy Potter fan by any means, but it is kind of cool with the whole lightning bolt story. You know, the lightning bolt mark on him. That's, you know, it's cool. Lightning bolts are cool. And when I was in Scouts, my patrol name was Lightning. So yeah, we were the Lightning Patrol. Also partially named that because of the fact that I've been indirectly struck by lightning twice. Yes, I survived. I've told those stories on my lives before, so I'm not going to bore y'all with them again. But the other cool thing about this guy is it does in the bottom where most people would think, especially Beard of Doom, would say, oh, that's a lanyard hole for doodad. But it is hex shaped. So guess what fits in there? Can anybody guess what would fit in a hex shaped head like that? Yeah, sure enough. Your hex bits. If I didn't just drop it, let it fall out and drop. I don't know where the hell the hex bit went. Oh well, it's down there somewhere. Maybe I should use my diffuse light to find it. Where'd you go, hex bit? Where the fuck did that thing go? Did I really just lose a hex bit? I think it was a worthless T20. Yeah, I mean, I know it wasn't a T8 or a T6. I don't know where it went. It's somewhere. It's somewhere. Somewhere. Around my desk or under my desk or wherever. But anyways, I'll find it later. Okay. But yeah, so you can fit your bits in the back end of this knife. So that's kind of cool. And it comes with a very robust belt sheath. Even though it's got a very functional pocket clip, which functions very well, hence it's functional, it still comes with the sheath. Velcro or straps, and it's got the hook, so you could do the whole dangle bit with it too if you wanted. But yeah, so that is a very heavy duty, very robust. I don't know why a backpacker would want something like that, but if you did, that's a good one. It's a good one. And then lastly, the only other thing that I would think that somebody would possibly want to choose as a backpacking knife is the Benchmade Bug Out. I don't know why. Some people are just, you know, they have a thing for these Benchmade knives. And you know, they think that because the Bug Out is super lightweight, very thin, low profile. I don't know. I don't know. I know a high number of backpackers that.
I'm back.
Okay, great. That very, very much recommend this for backpacking. So yeah, it is what it is. All right. Yeah, I 1 in 9 million are the odds. But is that the odds of being struck by lightning or the odds of being indirectly struck by lightning? Hey, Maddie's here. Check that out. Maddie's here. Yay, Mattisfaction. Just in time for the giveaway. You douchebag. No, I'm kidding. I love you, Maddie. I love you to death. My damn computer mouse battery went dead on me. It was crapping out on me. I need a double A. I need another double A. definitely a bunch of AAAs in this drawer. Ah, here we go. Let's see if this AA works. Oh, no, probably not. See? There's your corrosion from your alkaline batteries leaking on you. So, yeah, this is not good. You don't want that. Do not put that in anything. That's why you go lithium. Oh, well, I get a battery later. All right, let's do the giveaway. Maddie, real quick. Maddie, I'm talking to you, Maddie. Mass Faction, Maddie, please pay attention. Can you? Maddie, guess a number between 22 and 163. Real quick. Just you. You're the last one. You put your guess in, and then we're calling it. Come on, Maddie. Give me a number, damn it. You can do it. We believe in you. You can do it. Let's go, Maddie. Come on. There you go. 121. All right. Everybody's got their numbers in. Because Maddie's the last one. No more guesses. Stop is up. Let me type in stop so it's official. Oh, Dopey. All right. Dopey, you didn't guess already? All right. Any others? 22 to 163. Which my like here. 22 to 163. Anybody not put in a number guessing? I know, Dopey, you're driving. Okay, whatever. All right. So we good? We good. All right. Stop. No mas. All right. We'll cover the patches. Now, if Maddie wins, for some dumb reason, Maddie wins, I have a different patch specifically saved for him that I want him to have because I know he'd love this one better than any other patches that I've given. But if it's not Maddie, then this is the patch that I'm sending you. Path without obstacles leads you nowhere. Nowhere. And then the Olight multifunction O-Tackle K1 keychain knife tool. And then the Olight Diffuse without the it's just the diffuse. I was going for the Bud Light commercials from back in the day where they had the Budweiser bullfrogs in the pond, and they go Budweiser. Yeah, if you're old enough to know that, remember that. Yeah, so the Olight Diffuse. So yep, keychain multi-tool, flashlight, and patch. And remember, because I won't unless you tell me to put some sticker swag. You gotta tell me. If you're the winner and you want it, you gotta tell me. I know, Maddie. It's okay. We love you. You're in. All right. But Maddie's not gonna win because the winning number is 57. Sorry, Maddie. 121's a good guess, but you're at the opposite end. So who is my closest? Y'all help me out, because otherwise I'm hopeless until I find a AA battery. I don't know if I have any more in this drawer or if I'm gonna have to go to the damn kitchen drawer, the battery drawer. Why do I have so many AAA batteries in this desk drawer here? But somebody be my non-moderator moderator and figure out who was closest without going over that's got a shipping address in the greater United States, because damn it, I love you, Todd, but it cost me like $24 to send that package to you, and I'd rather not incur that shipping cost again. That was brutal. I will gladly do it once to somebody as special as you. But anybody else, everybody else can go F themselves. No. It's just I knew it was going to be more money, but I was really honestly not expecting it to be over $20 to send all those handful of goodies and the beautiful bowl that I made to Todd. It cost me $23 and some change. Damn, shipping out of the US is expensive. And that was using pirate ship too. It would have been probably another $6 or $7 if I had not used Pirate Bay or Pirate Ship, not Pirate Bay, Pirate Ship. Is my mouse up and working again? Yay! I found a double A. I'm back in business, baby. Back in business. Is B&A my? Y'all are awesome. Thank you. And what was your guess? What was your number, B&A? Can I scroll up back that far? I just want to know what your guess was, bro. Bro, hey, bro, what was your guess, bro? Dawn had 59. That was close to 57. Do you know why I chose 57? Because of the Heinz 57 steak sauce. That's why I chose 57. But yeah, brand new had 55. Nobody had 56 or 57. Nope. Bluminati had 68. Okay. All right. B&A. You are my winner, sir. Unless you would like to DSKFS to somebody else. Oh, did you already DSF KSF or whatever the 35th of the alphabet? I'm telling you, Maddie, if you don't win one of my giveaways and before I see you in person, either at Blade Show or somewhere else, I will give you the patch then. But I'm hoping that you win one of my giveaways because I have a sweet patch to give to you that's just like totally your jam, totally up your keister. Yes, Maddie, I pretty much for the most part agree with you. I do not like Heinz 57 steak sauce very much. I tried it a handful of times again and again over the years, thinking that maybe my taste buds would cause it to change how I feel about Heinz 57 as a steak sauce, but no, still don't like it. Still don't like it. So is Dawn my actual winner? Am I sending this to Dawn? Y'all tell me because I'm struggling to pay attention properly. Dawn, am I sending this to you? Is B&A deferring to you? Because I think B&A, how many times have you won something from me? At least twice, haven't you? Haven't I sent you at least 2 packages of goodies? Yeah. Dawn, you can either email me at urbanwoodsman87@gmail.com. Yeah, urbanwoodsman87@gmail.com. Just like that right there. Yeah, no spaces, just the whole thing, just like that. Or you can hit me up and message me on Instagram. My Instagram is urbanwoodsman87. I follow all the legends. I follow Maddie. I follow Stevie. I follow Sharif. I follow. I wish I do my best to try to follow as many of y'all as I can. and I really need to sit down and work on following more of y'all in the community that I know, or that people I know, for the sake of the fact that I absolutely am being driven nuts by my daughter, and the fact that she wants to constantly send me in Instagram messaging uh, stuff about cats because she freaking loves cats in a almost disturbing way. So, so because she does that, my Instagram feed, when I scroll through stuff, it's gotten to the point where it's like for every knife or outdoor gear related post that I see, I have to scroll past at least a dozen posts that have to do with cats. And I don't want that. So, and my daughter is not helping. Oh, so I'm and constantly, like, I feel like at least once a week, I'm sitting down for about 30 minutes, just going through my Instagram feed and saying and clicking on it on all the cat shit and saying, not interested, not interested. I don't want to see this. Stop it. But yet, because my daughter keeps sending me cat stuff on the messenger part of Instagram, it continues to give me cat stuff in my feed. So I feel like my only other hope, too late, Ginger Fisher. Nice try. Yeah, okay, let me accept it real quick. Instagram Messenger. Request the Miss Dawn Ray. Block? No, I'm just kidding. Block. Accepto. Yes, brand new is the man. He is a rock star. Or Alvin the Chipmunk's major rock star. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, just give me your wherever you want me to send it. Give me that shipping info, and I will do that beginning of next week. Obviously, Monday's a holiday, so it won't happen until like Tuesday or Wednesday. But I will get that. Let me. Do you want? I will type it. Would you likey to have some swagsy? That's exactly how I'm putting it. Dork. Yeah, let me know if you want a bunch of stickers and stuff, because I got that. I got plenty of it. I got too much of it. But yeah, remind me. Oh, P.O. Box? Maddie, somebody tell me. Can I send... Will Pirate Bay... Not Pirate Bay. Pirate Ship. Will Pirate Ship will do P.O. boxes? Does anybody know? Let me go to Pirate Ship. Log in. Does anybody know for sure? Does Pirate Ship? If it doesn't, then that's fine. I will just do it the old-fashioned way. It'll be just like another $1 or whatever. Not a huge deal, but I don't know if Pirate Ship lets you do PO boxes, gives you a discount with PO boxes. I don't think I've ever mailed anything ever to anybody that has a P.O. box. That's crazy. You're in West Virginia? Them fuckers are weird out there. Some of them. Some of them are. Not all of them, but some of them are. Uh, West Virginia and Kentucky. I knew a dude from Kentucky that was crazy. This dude was off his rocker. He was nuts. And I say this in the nicest way possible, but bless his heart. He was one weird dude. His accent was thick. He was in the military. We were stationed together at the same command when I was stationed in San Diego on Coronado Island on the CB amphib base. And out there, yeah, weird place to be stationed as a CB, where they kind of mixed all of us construction people as CBs, and they gave us a tiny little bit of them Navy boat people. So it was a weird way of being a CB at a command that had boat people. It's like weird, gross. Them boat people. But then no, this dude from Kentucky was one crazy dude. He San Diego is rather flat, fairly flat, has god awful drainage issues with rain. Terrible on all their road systems. Very bad drainage problems. So in order to combat that, like all your damn gas stations, stores, everything, your entrance spots from the road into the parking lots, all the time, so many places had a nice little steep curb to them. And this dude, brilliant dude, he was smart. He was somewhere hidden underneath all of the Kentucky-ness was a pretty good brain. He did his job very well. He was a smart man. And but he was not brilliant in the fact that this dude, I guess because he was from Kentucky, and like I'm assuming I would probably be safe to assume that he grew up with, beat up, busted up pickups and with shotgun rack in it, and farm equipment as anything that had a steering wheel that he ever got to sit behind. He decided that when he got into the Navy, that when he got stationed out in Coronado Island, San Diego, California, that he would buy for his vehicle out there, his mode of transportation, a Chevy Corvette. Yeah. He had the young mindset of, I'm in the Navy with this slick haircut and a guaranteed paycheck that I can suddenly somehow afford this kind of car, and I'm going to get all them ladies. Them ladies are going to want me. And so this dude bought this Corvette. I can't tell you. We drove through Coronado Island down to Imperial Beach and over to actual mainland of San Diego area. And we were in the car for about 25 minutes and went into 3 places. Only 3 parking lots did we go into in 25 minutes of driving time. He scraped the underside of this Corvette probably close to a dozen times. It was bad. Like, I just don't know what he was thinking. What was he thinking? buying that car. Oh, but no, he kept it. He paid him. He signed up for those payments, so he's kind of stuck with it. But yeah, now that the giveaways are over with, I guess we're done for the evening. So if y'all want to dip out, I guess I should probably call it a night and get on to other things that I'm supposed to be doing, like feeding these kids. And I gotta pack. I gotta throw my gear together for tomorrow. Taking off early in the morning. But yeah, awesome, brand new American. Thank you for passing off your goodies to Dawn. That's fantastic. Dawn, I will figure out some way to get those to you, to that P.O. box. It'll happen. I'll make it happen. I promise. But thank you guys. Thank you guys and gals, everybody, for stopping in. I'm sorry that it was kind of a last minute notification. There will not be a live tomorrow. If you haven't realized that, that's why it's done today, because I'm not going to be able to do it tomorrow. So yeah, thank you for popping in and participating, and hope you enjoyed the Urban Woodsman's Live number 29. Can't wait to get to number 69. Y'all know that's my favorite number. Urban asks question, does not read answers. Yeah, because I was looking at some other stuff. Sorry, Maddie. I got sidetracked again. Yeah. Hey, Loren. Yeah, Zach's after this, and then Grumpy might be on later night. He's supposed to be, isn't he normally scheduled for Thursday nights? Yeah, so there's other lives after me already, if they're not already going. Now I gotta look back real quick before I get out here. Y'all are free to go. I release y'all. Dismissed. Bye bye. Toodaloos. Not that you need my permission, but let me look. Maddie said that you answered my question supposedly about the. No, nobody answered about whether or not I can send to a PO box for yeah, envelopes for sure, Todd, are the cheapest way. But if you're sending large objects that require padding in a box, then the envelope kind of sucks and doesn't happen. Oh, okay, he played for Dawn. Gotcha. All right. Yep, I'm an idiot. No, I just don't pay attention as well as I probably should. I'm getting canceled before 69. Thank you, Dang Ross. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't. Yeah, I would be surprised if I don't get canceled by then. It's hard to behave, especially when social media keeps getting bombarded by and controlled by the wrong people. But all right, I gotta go. I really gotta go. I really gotta go. I gotta feed the kids and I gotta pack. So yep. Peace out. Love y'all very much. Appreciate you. Ending stream.